In Slovak language, we only use two kinds of past tense: regular past tense and irregular past tense. We use the past tense in Slovak in these situations: when finished actions in the past, states of something in the past, and habits. And we also use it with these words, for example, včera, minulý týždeň, o druhej, or 2003. To say something in a past tense, we need to change the suffix. And the suffix depends on the gender and number. So, for example, the masculine gender, we use the suffix l. With feminine, we use la. With neuter, we use lo. And with all of the plurals, we use li. So, for example, písal, he wrote, kreslila, she drew, chodilo, it walked, varili, they cooked, or we cooked, or you cooked. However, you need to remember that with the first and second person, both singular and plural, all of them except the third person, we need to use an auxiliary verb. So in the first person singular, the auxiliary verb would be som. In first person plural, the auxiliary verb would be sme. Second person singular, si. Second person plural, ste. And with the third person, we don't use auxiliary verbs. Okay, so let's conjugate the word čítať in the past tense. Let's start with the first person. So, first person singular, ja som čítal. First person singular in feminine, ja som čítala. And in plural, my sme čítali. In second person singular, masculine, ty si čítal. Second person singular feminine, ty si čítala. And in plural, vy ste čítali. Third person singular, masculine, on čítal. Third person singular feminine, ona čítala. Third person singular neuter, ono čítalo. And in plural, oni čítali. Magda napísala list. It's a third person singular feminine. We need to use la. Magda napísala list. My sme kričali. So it's first person plural. We need to use li and the auxiliary verb. My sme kričali. Vy ste prišli. So we know it's second person plural. We need to use li and the auxiliary verb ste. Vy ste prišli. Ja som plakal. It's first person singular, masculine. We need to use the suffix L and the auxiliary verb som. Ja som plakal. If you want to sound more like a native speaker, you need to remove the pronouns as we don't need them. The conjugation in Slovak allows us to be specific enough for us to know which person are we talking in without using pronouns. So if you're saying a pronoun and you're also having the conjugation there, it makes it sound as if you wanted to emphasize it. So therefore, let's look at the same sentences again. Magda napísala list. There's no pronoun to drop because we are using her specific name. Next sentence is My sme kričali. The native speaker would say kričali sme. We dropped the pronoun me, we, and we changed the position of the auxiliary verb. Again, vy ste prišli, you can say prišli ste. Ja som plakal, plakal som. This doesn't change the meaning of the sentence at all. So the pronouns are unnecessary. Therefore, these are the sentences you would hear in a normal, casual conversation with a Slovak. Magda napísala list. Kričali sme. Prišli ste. Plakal som. So, as I said before, you need to change the position of the auxiliary verb. So first you use the correctly conjugated verb and then after it the auxiliary verb. And if the verb is conjugated correctly, the listener knows everything you're speaking in past tense, which person you're speaking in and which number you're speaking in. So all of it you can do it by using only two words. Kričali sme. So the verb byť, to be, is an irregular verb, and this is how we conjugate it in the past tense. First person, singular masculine, ja som bol. First person, singular feminine, ja som bola. And plural, my sme boli. Second person, singular masculine, ty si bol. Second person, singular feminine, ty si bola. And plural, vy ste boli. Third person, singular masculine, on bol. Third person, singular feminine, ona bola. And third person, singular neuter, ona bolo. And plural, oni boli. Again, here's my tip how to sound like a native speaker. Native speakers avoid using pronouns, as you already know, because they're not needed, so the Slovak grammar allows us to know everything, which person we're talking about, which tense we're talking about, or gender. So in that case, we can drop the pronoun and switch the word order. So for example, instead of ja som bol, we can say bol som. So first person singular masculine would be bol som, feminine bola som, and plural boli sme. And in the second person, singular masculine bol si, feminine bola si, and in plural boli ste. Third person, singular masculine bol, feminine bola, neuter bolo, and in plural boli. Convenient, isn't it? So the first version I taught you is correct, but it sounds very robotic. Slovaks like to keep things short and practical, so I don't need to say the pronoun I if the conjugation already hints very specifically I'm talking about myself in first person singular and even my gender. Bola som, we all know I'm talking about myself, so I don't need the pronoun I. If you say the pronoun in casual speech, you sound kind of like Alexa. This is the tip many Slovak teachers won't tell you for some reason. So, for example, ja som bola doma. Yeah, I'm talking in feminine first person singular. Ja som bola doma. But I can also say more casually, bola som doma. Petra bola v meste. I'm talking in feminine, third person singular. But there's no pronoun to be dropped. Again, we are talking about somebody using their specific name. Next. Priatelia, vy ste boli na oslave? I'm talking about second person plural. But native speaker would just say priatelia, boli ste na oslave? Ja a moji rodičia sme boli v Španielsku. It's the first person plural. There's no pronoun to be dropped because I'm using and, me and my parents. But I can use another form of the same sentence. For example, ja som bola s mojimi rodičmi v Španielsku. I was in Spain with my parents. Therefore, I can drop the I. Bola som s mojimi rodičmi v Španielsku. test your knowledge. I spoke. To speak is rozprávať. And I wrote a sentence in pink because I'm a female. I'll use the feminine gender. If you're a male, use the masculine. And first, let's use the Alexa voice. And then let's use the casual language. So, I'm using feminine. I'll use the suffix la. And I need to use the auxiliary verb som. Therefore, I spoke is ja som rozprávala in feminine. This is the Alexa voice, but if I want to say it more casually, I say rozprávala som. Now let's do you were writing. To write is písať. And let's use the masculine. So I need to use the auxiliary verb. You were writing, ty si písal, or more casually, písal si. Let's do river running. To run is behať. We were running, my sme behali, or more casually, behali sme. It was moving, to move, hýbať sa. So this time I don't need to use the auxiliary verb because I'm speaking in third person. So it was moving. Ono sa hýbalo. Or more casually, hýbalo sa. I was reading a book. Let's fill the blank spaces. And let's use the masculine. Ja som čítal knihu. Casually, čítal som knihu. children sang in the church, or children were singing in the church. Deti spievali v kostole. Did you clean the kitchen? Vy ste upratali kuchyňu? Or more casually, upratali ste kuchyňu? Yesterday I drank wine. Use feminine. Včera som pila víno. Now, there's one more thing I want you to know. Sometimes we change the verb when we're talking about finished actions. So, for example, yesterday I drank wine. Včera som pila víno. Notice the word pila. I am describing the action of drinking which happened in the past. But if I say vypila som pohár vína, instead of pila I would say vypila. That means I finished it. So I finished the action of drinking for the amount I had. So I finished a glass of wine. I was writing a letter. Písal som list. Notice the verb písal. I am describing the action of writing, which happened in the past. But I can say napísal som list. And that means I managed to finish that action in the past. Here are some examples of the most frequent verbs in finished version, and all you need to do is to just remember them. I don't think you need to study and memorize them. If you speak to the native speakers, you will start using them automatically without memorizing them. I'm not a huge fan of memorizing, so I don't think you should do that. Just listen to the native speakers, listen to music or movies in Slovak, and let this sink under your skin and become natural to you. So, let's say yesterday we were eating pizza and Marek didn't finish his. Didn't finish, that's the negative. So we need to use the prefix nie. So remember, in the first sentence, we were doing the process of eating, but Marek didn't finish. So, to eat, So yesterday we were eating pizza, Marek didn't finish his. Včera sme jedli pizzu, Marek nezjedol svoju. We were doing the process of eating, therefore jedli in first person plural and with the auxiliary verb sme, but Marek didn't finish eating his pizza, therefore instead of jedol, we say zjedol. No need for auxiliary verb because this is the third person, and we use the prefix ne with zjedol to make it negative, therefore nezjedol. Another example, today we were cleaning our house but we didn't clean the balcony. Again, there's the negative. So we were doing the process of cleaning, but we didn't manage to clean the balcony. The balcony is still dirty. To clean, dnes sme umývali náš dom, ale neumýli sme balkón. We were doing the process of cleaning, therefore umývali in the first person plural, but we didn't manage to clean the balcony. The balcony is still dirty. Umýli, also in the first person, except the finished action. So instead of umývali, we would say umýli. And we use the prefix. They were going to the concert, got lost, and didn't arrive on time. So to get lost is stratiť sa, and to be on time, na čas. So the first one is to go and the second one is to arrive or to finish going. Therefore, išli na koncert, stratili sa a neprišli na čas. See? Išli versus prišli in the third person plural. We need to conjugate they got lost as well. So stratili sa, again, the suffix li. But let's focus on išli and prišli. One is finished and one is just describing the process. I drew a portrait of you. We just need to use the finished action. So, nakreslil som portrét teba. I can't really say kreslil som portrét teba. I can say it, but that changes the entire meaning. Kreslil som portrét teba means that I was drawing you yesterday, but the portrait isn't done yet. Okay, let's move on. People were dying in pain. 16 people died that evening. In pain, v bolestiach. Ľudia zomierali v bolestiach. 16 ľudí zomrelo ten večer. So, I want to say that when we speak about specific numbers of something, we use the neuter gender. So instead of 16 ľudí zomreli, I know this is what you wanted to do, but we have to say 16 ľudí zomrelo, as if we were speaking in the third person.
Give it